I've got a mystery, but I bought this tool anyway because I know that it's a great brand. This is the Multitasker brand AR, and as long as it's original, this is a fantastic tool made by a really good company that, well, sadly, it's pretty much gone now. You may have remembered seeing this previous tool. This is the only example I had from a brand that made many plier-based multi-tools. This was a Series 3. On the reverse side of these pliers, you can see Multitasker Tools Series 3. One of the things that set this apart was it had G10 scales, and then the pliers were made out of CNC. You can see the CNC billet hybrid. A lot of these functions on here were actually made way before we saw them come out on other tools. So for instance, the Leatherman Garage series comes out with the dark side, I believe it was. One of those where you could take apart the plier head, and it looks like this one could as well. When we close this up and see these tools, they're all on the outside, so they're easy access. When we look further down the handle, you'll notice there is this bit driver. And on this bit driver, one of the things that stands out is it has this overhang where it can fold directly flush against the tools beside it, but then it sticks out on the opposite side. Now, Gerber on their Slim Drive will have a design suspiciously similar to this one years later, but it seems like we see it first, perhaps here on the Multitasker. G10 scales, CNC machined pliers, the arm bar-like bit driver, all outside opening tools. When we look at this example, this is a very large knife on a frame that is large, but not as large as some. So let's go ahead and measure this. It comes in just about 4 inches, but look how large that knife is. On the back, there's no writing, but it just says Series 3 multi-tool. Now, I was able to pull up a diagram of what these are. Then there's this carbon scraper. The next tool is the 3/32, pin punch, 8/32 male thread. You can unscrew the punch to use the 8/32 and then thread different things on here, it looks like. Pretty neat. I think you could put a gun cleaning rod, I'm assuming, using that thread. All right, let's go ahead, screw this back on, put this carbon punch back. On the reverse side, of course, we had the 1/4 inch bit driver. One of the things I ran across in my research is that these threadings on this bit driver is actually for some third-party accessories that you could fit on. I'm not sure exactly what they were, but I think that's neat that the Multitasker team was thinking ahead. Now this will just, I believe, be a normal 1/4 inch bit. And then with some of these, there was actually an AR front sight tool where it had the adjustment similar to this one, although some of these pins have broken off. Yeah, so that's what some of these had. This one is just flush for whatever reason. Now beside this is the 3/8 and 1/2 inch hex wrenches. And then one of the last tools on here is this Castle nut wrench, and then the screwdriver on the end. Now this tool is a little mysterious to me because it does seem to have that similar Castle nut wrench. It does have a 1/4 inch driver. Now with this Multitasker AR tool, I did get this pouch. Has this place where you can easily put it on your belt, Velcro, and then you actually get a bit kit, and then there's a zipper in the pouch cover, which I'm assuming you could put instructions or perhaps some loose firearm related tools. These are the double-sided bits, and these are indeed ball detent. I had forgotten that I actually had this kit. So this fits in just like so, and you've got some hex tools, Torx, and Phillips, and the flat driver. And then this particular version has the 440C knife blade, and then on the back it does say China. Now the next tool on mine is this wrench, and then the carbon scraper, and then a file, and I'm not sure, it looks like perhaps This is how this is meant to be. I'm not sure if this is a little scraper on the end of this file, but it is a little different. I really enjoy these tools because you can tell that they're made a lot better than many of the other tools, you know, that are non-Leatherman or even Gerber's. Some of them aren't made near as well as these, most of them probably. These are very well made, even if they are made in China. Some of these parts, the tolerances and everything are kept to a much better standard than most of the multi-tools we've seen. Now, probably the tool that is the closest related to these is the Leatherman MUT. Now, with the Leatherman MUT, of course, you get this Leatherman Surge style plier head, and then you can actually tap a cleaning rod into the side of the plier head, which is really neat. Has the carbon scraper, this like brass scraper or bronze on the side. Comes with this very long knife, the saw. On the opposing side, there is a pin punch. We have this pretty nice pocket clip, the cutter, the hammer end. So they say that this is the bolt override tool. Now with the bit driver, it has sort of a locking system, which is pretty cool, in that it locks into these notches, and then you can press this little locking lever forward, and then you can unlock this. Now it does come with a smaller bit, and then there are two longer bits that are held on the side of the handles. So here are the longer bits that are held in this handle. There's one on that side, and then there's usually one on the other side, which I don't think I have one in mind at the moment, but let's go ahead, put this bit back in here. The other clever thing is that you can lock this in place so there's no rattle and movement that much when you're carrying it. I really like the Leatherman MUT, but it does come in at $230. Now, even years ago, these were coming in well over $100, getting close to the $200 mark. I have heard that Multitasker said to start up the company producing multi-tool pliers again, they would be probably over $300, so way more than the Leatherman MUT. Pretty much the only tool that I think is worth anything much at the moment that is even close to this is probably the Gun Tool Max by Real Avid, but it is a little bit of a clunky design. Now this one is $89 on Amazon's website. This also comes in G10, seems very popular for these AR gun style multi-tools. The pliers are fine. They are spring-loaded with replaceable wire cutters. I have no clue where you would get the replaceable wire cutters if these break, but that's what they have. G10 scales, which look pretty nice. Now, looking at this side of the tool, there are three main tools. None of these lock. This one is your sight adjuster. Then you've got your choke tools, and then you've got wrenches inside. This is your pin punch, and online they say it's your 3/30 seconds detachable pin punch. You can unthread this and I suppose swap that out and put other tools in its place. Now this is your bottle opener. Also, they classify this as the round scraper here at the bottom and then a flat scraper at the top. So these tools are all outside accessible, and just like the Multitasker was. This one has the hammer on the outside. Then you have your long 1/4-inch double-sided bits. And then you also have this tool, which when I look online, that is your oversized flat head screwdriver. That is very oversized. On this spring, you can go ahead and close this. You can open it in the 80-degree, I guess, position, and then the 180-degree. It sort of locks in place, not completely, but pretty much. And then you can use at will this oversized, huge screwdriver head. Below your 1/4-inch bit driver is your detachable cleaning scraper. This, just like the punch on the other side, comes on and off. Then you can go ahead and put that back. And then there is the large knife. This seems very humongous, but it is a very heavy tool. Let's go ahead and just weigh these tools actually. Most all these tools seem a little bit oversized what we would normally see. This comes at 13.8 ounces. The multi-tool Leatherman MUT comes in at 10.5 ounces. Multitasker Series 3, 12.6 ounces. And this Multitasker that I'm not sure yet what it is, 10.9 ounces. When we switch this over to grams, the MUT comes in at 298 grams. The real Avid, 392 grams. The Multitasker, 356 grams, and the first Multitasker, or the second one that I bought, 308 grams. $89, $230, discontinued. These fetch very high prices on eBay. I think I got this maybe for $60 to $80, which I thought was actually a pretty good deal. I've seen these go for maybe $150 to $200 even used. These are, I think, still some of the best tools that you can get for your gun cleaning platforms. Let me know if you have others that are favorite that you use. This is a segment of the multi-tool industry which I feel like is sort of dying. There's been a lot of these tools and then they're sort of going away. Some of that might be due to some of the legality issues in different countries. And even in the US, some of the standards seem to shift with the different administrations we have. But I would imagine in the future, a lot of these will disappear. Let me know what you guys think.